What is up, guys? It's your boy here, Jersey Flex, back with another video. I normally say back with another awesome video. Today is unfortunately not going to be so much of an awesome video in terms of the topic that we are discussing. Today is a pretty sad day in bodybuilding as we all mourn the death of Mr. Shawn Rhoden, a very, very popular, a very favorably liked champion. You could as far as to go and say the people's champion, a very likable bodybuilder. And I had the pleasure of meeting him here at the 2021 Mr. Olympia in Orlando. I'm going to bloop up a picture of that. And with that being said, when I met him, he was probably one of the nicest, most humble, down-to-earth, just dudes, and the reason I'm making this video today for you guys is so that way we can kind of get together and discuss what's really going on in bodybuilding, because nobody seems to be talking about the truth. Whether we like to admit it or not, PEDs are kind of taking a huge effect in the sport, more so than they've ever really done. And I know that deaths can be something pretty common in this sport. Me being somebody who uses PEDs, performance enhancement drugs, it is something to duly note. And keep in mind that I have to say this for, legality purposes. This video is strictly made for entertainment purposes only. Any mention of PEDs is not promoting the usage of them. This video is strictly made for entertainment and educational purposes only. So I'm really just here to talk about an unfortunate circumstance and also to address, that certain things in bodybuilding, whether they're abused or not, can come out of the scope of being healthy. So obviously, the more you do of something, the less healthy it is, in other words. So, and again, don't take anything you find in this video as medical advice. I'm strictly just giving an informational guide to, and also opinion-wise on what's going on. So let's roll a little clip of fellow Greg Ducce, our sponsor, as he kind of discussed upon the same subject.
Not everyone is doing cardio. Cardio obviously is going to help. So one of the reasons I do a lot of cardio and bike race is not just because I love it. I also love to be healthy, and I love to think that perhaps it's undoing some of the damage, because obviously I've used steroids for years, and it's quite scary to think back and think, geez, why did I do that? All just to be a pro, and for what? Does that really matter? I used to be a professional bodybuilder. I want to be like you, Dad. Be like, really? If you want to be like me, try bike riding. Bodybuilding? I mean, if you're doing it natural, that's one thing. But if you're doing it with PEDs, it's quite another. And here's the problem. You might think that you're going to get into bodybuilding and you're going to be natural. But then after a while, you see what other people are doing and you want to get better. And eventually you take something. That's what happened to me. I was dead set against using steroids when I was younger. Like, as strongly against steroid use as any YouTuber that you've seen that promotes like natural bodybuilding. That was me. I was that person.
So that being said, a little message from our sponsor, Greg Ducce, who we are officially affiliated with. And by the way, this is the supplement line. If you guys want to check that out, I'm going to leave that down in the description. But basically what he's trying to say is that, as an athlete, you're always going to look to take things to the next level. I am no substitute of that myself. I trained naturally as a recreational bodybuilder before I even considered getting into any form of competition, naturally for 8 years. Okay, I used to watch these guys like Sadiq, You know, Jeremy Bumieta, like all the classic physique, not classic, but classic men's physique competitors that really started the whole trend of men's physique and board shorts. You know, that's kind of when I got into this whole thing. I had recently had 3 knee surgeries, so I was unable to compete in, like, you know, men's open. Not that I would ever, you know, be big enough for something like that without massive levels of HGH. But, you know, I got into this thing and I said to myself, I'm going to take this as far as I can naturally. That was the original scope of mine that I had, is I'm going to train, diet, and exercise as hard as I can to try and maximize what my body can do. And whether I did that or not, I was very consistent for 8 years. Just to give you guys the idea, so like all the high schoolers out there that are thinking of dropping SARMs and doing all that kind of bogus at an early age, just remember that even me, somebody who, and I don't promote PEDs whatsoever, I'm very open about my usage and also discussing the informational side of it, because if anyone decides to make the mistake with their life of actually using this stuff, I want them to know the actual consequences and also what you can do from it, with it, and also how to be effective with it to do it as safe as possible. Because at the end of the day, none of this stuff is safe, you know, but there's a risk to reward ratio of why you're actually doing it. So, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So that is one thing that I do want to express, is that I didn't jump into this early. I gave myself time to see how far I could go naturally, or how far I was willing to go naturally, and I did that for 8 years. So hopefully that minimized some of the damages that could have been done if I'd started doing this kind of stuff early. And even when I did it very modestly, you know, 200, 250 milligrams of test a week, nothing crazy. And even to this day, I don't, you know, do much more than just that. So, it's really all about being healthy, but that is something that does happen. And bringing the subject back to someone like Shawn Rhoden, who unfortunately, you know, he was just such a phenomenal person, and I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity of actually meeting him in person. You know, I have nothing bad to say about him as a person, as a competitor. And bringing it back to the subject of PEDs, he was known for doing less in the off season. You know, he was one of those guys who downsized substantially and was very modest in his off season. He did not abuse these compounds. He only kind of sized up when it was time for a show, and then he went back to training more modestly in his off season. You know, he was kind of known for that. So it's kind of strange that somebody who took such good care of himself and really stood the test of time would end up leaving us with a heart attack, because whether I mentioned that or not in this video, age 46, that was the cause of death, a heart attack. And it can be argued whether that was related to the usage of anabolics or not. We do know that anabolics increase the risk of heart complications due to messing up your blood lipid levels. So it'll screw up your HDL to LDL ratio, could produce hypertension, you know, high blood pressure and stroke and all those kinds of things. Those are long-term issues that can arise. Even, you know, in the short term as well, you could have spikes of high blood pressure. You want to generally keep that below 130 over 80. You know, you want to keep that below 130 over 80, 140 over 80, 150. Once you start getting like 140, 150, that's too high, you know, and a lot of guys unfortunately ignore that. With bro science, they think that they're going to be okay because the other guy is taking the same dose. You know, you got to keep in mind that everybody's different, and, you know, Shawn Rhoden here just goes to show that he was a very modest guy with his usage. And obviously, the higher the level that you're competing in, he was an Olympia level competitor. So you have to imagine that these doses would be substantial to maintain that kind of muscle weight and muscle size. So whether he was modest or not at that level, you know, to a normal person, those are still going to be some pretty high doses for the body to handle, especially in the long term. So with that being said, I did watch Greg, and I did watch More Plates, More Dates video discussing the subject of Shawn Rhoden, which you guys could also check out their videos as well. There's some great references to watch. Anyone who enjoys my channel will definitely enjoy their channel as well. But yeah, one thing that I did want to cover on, which I did note that Greg did as well, is, and mainly because I'm very much agreed with him in this respect, there has to be something that's done for us athletes, because like I said, and it kind of gets me a little bit emotional, because, you know, when I got into the sport of bodybuilding, I had some pretty good genetics going for me. You know, I put on muscle pretty quickly. As you guys know by watching my content, I have a lot of vascularity going for me, so it kind of makes everything pop a little more. So, you know, having these things in my physique, I kind of thought that I could go very far naturally, but it's really when you go far naturally and you realize what you're up against that you say, you know, you're going to need some form of enhancement, whether it's a testosterone booster or something even further like anabolic steroids. You know, you kind of start to realize that at the elite, most elite level, there is some form of enhancement that's needed. So that being said, it would be nice to see a subcategory in bodybuilding, at least to give an opportunity for guys who want to stay more healthy with their lives or go the alternative route and be an Olympia competitor in a division where it is natural. You know, maybe we can still keep all the same classes we have today, which is awesome, but make a subdivision, just one division, you know. And it's kind of crazy. I know a lot of the old school guys will kind of get at me for making this video because but it's true. I mean, we need to like focus on being healthy, because Shawn Rhoden, not only a phenomenal bodybuilder, but a phenomenal human being. You know, what's it going to take? In this past year, we've lost too many, not only great bodybuilders, but great human beings themselves. So with that being said, you know, drop the mic, you know, it is what it is. You know, sometimes we got to just stop with that old school mentality and look to see what's better for us as human beings, because unfortunately, some people do abuse PEDs to reach the elite level, and some people don't. Some people don't abuse them. They take a mild amount, but depending on genetic, that's enough to really mess somebody up in the long run. And what's it going to take? How much more of this are we going to do before we finally just say that's enough? You know, is it going to lead to bodybuilding just being canceled as a sport, which I don't think would ever happen due to its monetary value? It's a very lucrative sport. But it would be nice to see a subdivision, a subcategory where us guys can train and we have an option. You know, there's a natural Mr. Olympia, and then there's the enhanced Mr. Olympia, or some form of division where we can get away with doing this professionally and not have to inject or take an oral or take some kind of steroid compound that's going to be detrimental to our health. You know, we're human beings too, and we do this out of passion and out of love to make a career, to be inspirational to other people, to exercise. We want to kind of change the community of fitness. You know, that's something we all aspire to be as fitness professionals, and it's just unfortunate to see so many lives lost, you know, in this kind of process, you know. And the only reason we really see the death of Shawn Rhoden being brought to the spotlight is because he's someone in the spotlight. That's the reason we all know about it. But how many amateur bodybuilders die every single year competing in NPC and doing this or that, either because they starve the crap out of themselves, they take way too much clenbuterol and their heart flies out of their mouth, or God knows what the heck they did. They just didn't get their blood works done and they die of some kind of heart issue. The same way many of these pro bodybuilders have been dying on us, you know, this past year. You know, it's never an easy thing to say that bodybuilding is just unhealthy. It really is. I mean, you got to think anything at the elite level. You know, if you're a professional basketball player, that's unhealthy. Because playing basketball with your friends at a pickup game at the park, you know, that's healthy. You're getting a little cardio session, you're having fun, chilling with your mates, your bros, whatever you're doing, you know, getting a little exercise. That's healthy. You know, even playing on a travel team, recreation league, that's healthy. But when you push something to a professional level, you know, training day in, day out to be the best on the planet, because that's what a professional aspires and pushes themselves to do, is to be the best on the planet. You know, basketball even becomes unhealthy. So bodybuilding is kind of the extreme of physical fitness. It's bringing the body to the brink and the pinnacle of its most maximum aesthetic appeal. So yeah, it's going to be unhealthy. You're driving your body to extreme levels, and these drugs are in correlation with the achievement of that aesthetic appeal. So, you know, I'm just really kind of going on a rant right now because it's the reality and it gets me fired up, and I hope that you guys agree, because this is just, it's getting to be a little bit too much in my opinion in the sport. So whether you guys agree or not, you can leave that in the comments down below. You know, I just really wanted to share with you guys what's going on because like I said, Shawn Rhoden was just a phenomenal human and bodybuilder. Alright guys, so that being said, basically wraps up today's video here. If you enjoyed this content, I'm going to ask that you guys go down, hit that subscribe button, support this channel, leave a like, leave a comment if you're feeling generous as well as checking out our line, our brand here, HTLT Supplements. We just got the new Turk Builder back in stock. I know you guys have been dying to try out Turkesterone as well, so check out HTLT Supplements. Link is down in the description. It helps this channel and supports us directly, so check out these awesome supplements that I use and trust myself as well. Go down, subscribe, and until next time guys, we're gonna roll that outro. It's your boy Jersey Flex. I love each and every single one of you guys. Stay healthy, keep training, and be yourselves. Be true to yourselves. Roll that freaking outro video. Boom. No!